Ta-da! Hey, welcome everybody to another installment of The Incredible Hoax. Ta-da! I am Mark Hoke, movie enthusiast, writer, composer, and I'm joined by my lovely friend
Chris Hoke, writer, and other things.
and a fine director.
Yes, that's right. A writer for Red Sea, directing some episodes of Cowboy and Lucky. Just an all-around genius. Editor.
Yeah.
Editor now. Yeah, that's fun. Did we talk about that last episode?
Yeah, we did. You
locked in a room, arguing with
room.
people. You smell. Yeah.
But you eat well, right?
You eat well. You drink lots of Diet Mountain Dew for the caffeine. It's great.
Well, today's episode should be a lot of fun because we've got a new review to talk about, and we might, if we have time permitting, we might get around to talking a little bit about the top 100 top grossing films adjusted for inflation,
which is the real list to look at. Don't look at the one with just dollars, because that's
right. And we'll get more into that, but we'll be discussing that. But we want to talk about a movie by the directors called Skyline. Is the directors are the brothers Strauss, Colin and Greg Strauss. And
they've made what?
And I know that they directed Alien vs. Predator, Requiem. And then I know they've kind of done a lot of special effects.
Okay.
But this I think is really kind of their first really original away from a franchise. But the movie is Skyline that we're talking about, and but the brothers Strauss, I think this is their second feature.
Yeah.
And let's get to it. What are your thoughts?
Well, basically, here, to give you the plot outline, it's an alien invasion in L.A., and it's somewhat of a Night of the Living Dead theme, but with aliens invading instead of zombies outside. So it's people trapped in a building with aliens, and they can't get out. And so that's the basic premise of the movie. My thoughts were, I thought the special effects were good. You could tell the budget was limited, but they were good for what they had to work with.
Sure.
I thought the acting was all there. I mean, you had your typical sort of prototypical male lead, where he's definitely the chiseled, good-looking guy, and
right,
and he's got all the normal sort of problems. Nothing too out of ordinary in terms of character development, so no, didn't break new ground in that area. But all in all, it was a good, solid, sci-fi. I don't know, action. What's really action movie? I hate to use the word thriller.
Yeah, thriller's been an overused genre name.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a thriller. It's not a horror movie, and it's not an action movie. It's just sort of a sci-fi. What would you call it?
Well, it's actually it's closer to a disaster film.
Yeah.
In many respects.
Yeah, exactly. It's sort of, and on that level, it works well enough. Not to give any spoilers. The ending, me and you both agree, I think, was a little lackluster. But overall, the acting was decent. The story was decent. Special effects were good. I would definitely catch it on a home video. I don't know if I'd race to the movies to watch it. So on a scale of 1 to 4 stars, with 4 being best, I'd give it a 2.5. Is what I'd give it, a 2.5.
Okay.
But the main thing to watch it for would be Brittany Daniels. I have a huge king-size crush on Brittany Daniels, the blonde chick. You'll remember her from Joe Dirt. If you saw Joe Dirt, I don't need to say anymore. Because every guy I know that's seen Joe Dirt, the first thing they say is, "Hey, you see that blonde chick?" Well, this is that same blonde chick, and she's in it, and thank God. And I have a huge crush on her. So,
well, you're I guess a better. You have a better eye than I do. I did not recognize it. Because when the credits ran, I'm like, Brittany Daniels in this? And because I remember in Joe Dirt, she was so lovely in that. But
lovely, hell, she was.
All right, she's gorgeous. What else you want me to say?
She was sexy as hell.
But that said, she did a good job of not being quite as glamorous.
And she's not the main female lead. I'm just throwing it out there because I like her.
Right.
I just really like. I think she's hot.
Well, my thoughts were, I agree. I would give it a 2.5 stars. That movie had me, in so many ways, all the way to the last 5 minutes, and it's so clear they didn't really have an ending, and it's one of those things where if you rent it and just kind of take it for what it is, and not have your expectations really high, you may come away with something from it. Me personally, it's the kind of movie that frustrates the hell out of me, because I don't like a movie to jerk me around for 90% of the or more of the movie and then not have an ending. I mean, it's like you need to know where you're going.
Yeah.
And this, I felt like they just dropped the ball in the end. So it kind of for me, it soured the whole project, because up until that point, they were maximizing the special effects, really getting a lot of mileage out of it.
Yeah.
They were doing a good job of putting the actors in positions that they could succeed.
Yeah.
So that was fine.
Yeah, nobody was asked to do too much in terms of acting.
Exactly. Well, hell, Eric Balfour, the lead actor, he looks like a cross between Stallone and Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, the white guy?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
The character's name is Jared, and he looked like a cross between the boss and Stallone. It was kind of weird. So we may see him more in other action films.
And he was fine.
But there was some nice things about it. I just wish it had an ending.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest gripe.
Spoiler alert. So don't say we didn't warn you, okay?
Okay.
Let's just go ahead and talk about the ending, because we're giving a spoiler alert.
All right.
Spoiler alert.
All right.
Okay. In the show. All right. The main thing is the aliens grab your attention with light and draw you in, and you just
like a moth to a flame,
and you just float on. You get caught in the tractor beam and float up the ship, and they do have their will with you. Which is all. You can just imagine what that is. All right. But he sees the light, is removed from it. It happens to him twice, and he says he felt powerful. And throughout the movie, one time he gets angry and his eyes glow and he beats this guy. Manhandles this guy. I was hoping in the ending it would be he basically got superpowers and he just starts kicking the alien's ass and almost single-handedly saves L.A. And I was like, oh god, that'd have been so cool if they went that way. But they don't go that way, and I'll stop with this. They go the District 9 route, which worked in District 9, and it don't work here.
Well, that's a very good way. That's a very diplomatic way to put it too, so that people are watching and are totally not wanting to be totally spoiled.
Yeah,
that was a good way to put that. So they'll be somewhat surprised, hopefully, because we don't want to blow everything.
Well, I said spoiler alert.
But you said spoiler alert, but that's true. Yeah. But to me, it's like that whole subplot about him feeling more powerful really goes nowhere, because in the end.
No, yeah.
And remember, we said spoiler alert. Yeah. In the end, it's basically the aliens win. Okay, so
there's hope, but there's hope.
There's hope.
It's like District 9.
But the hope is very kind of dark and it's somewhat bleak. And I can handle it's a post-apocalyptic story. I don't mind a bleak ending. I can list movies that have kind of a dark ending. I mentioned earlier, John Carpenter's In the Mouth of Madness ends with everyone's gone, and the only guy left alive was the Sam Neill character who was investigating the writer to begin with, and he's left in the theater going mad. I could accept that because it earned it. This movie, I don't think, really earned that, because you're watching, and the characters are kind of clueless of what's going on the whole time.
Yeah.
So you can accept that Jared, the character Jared, and his girlfriend, I suppose, are faithful to one another and they love one another even till the end. And I think, well, that would have
like
been
a Cloverfield ending.
like a Cloverfield ending. I could have accepted that, but then it goes like this extra step.
There's an epilogue to it.
Yeah, that it's like, well, you really needed another 30 minutes then to finish that story.
Yeah.
So,
having said all that, if they make a sequel, it could be really good. Even though we don't like the ending, if they could, I could see potential. If they're smart enough, they could make it work. It'd be cool. It just depends. I mean, it's. We'll just have to see.
Well, I will say this to kind of end our spoiler alert section here.
Yeah.
That, for all I know, the directors intended to leave it that way because they're like, hey, we want to work again. They may have devised it to say, hey, we want this to be kind of open-ended.
Well, they tell they wanted to make a franchise.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's fine. It's just, it reminds me of that movie X-Men, Bryan Singer's X-Men. The ending to that so clearly set up, for a sequel, and that stuff is annoying to me. To me, I'd much rather you just tell your story. And
well, like bringing up District 9 again. District 9's ending. If there never is a District 10, if you will,
right?
If there never is a District 10,
District 9,
you won't miss it. Because in District 9, even though it's totally open for a sequel, it could end that way and never be touched again, and it's fine.
Yeah,
it's kind of sad, tragic, sad, but with a little bit of hope mixed in, and if they never make another one, it's okay.
Yeah.
But some movies are just like they're set up in such a way as like there has to be another one because otherwise this movie's going to suck.
Well, you mentioned what you were kind of looking for, that where the story went,
where he turned into a superhero.
Yeah, let me tell the folks at home what I was looking for was possibly it ending with, of course, the aliens win, but then have a scene where the epilogue would just show what the aliens were after.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I was thinking, well, maybe there was some natural resource that light seemed to be their power, and maybe this natural resource is what made their power work.
Yeah. And
have a shot showing them getting refueled, if you will, and you're like, oh, I see why they wanted the planet, and then end there. But instead, it's like, no, let's have this kind of start of something else.
Yeah.
The struggle to rescue the pregnant woman, and you're like, okay, and then it just ends.
Well, then I'll say this in the movie's favor.
Yeah.
Thank God we have an alien invasion movie now, where there was no freaking political message to it. There was no environmental message. It was just a movie. Yeah,
the only thing I could say, maybe politically, is that it had that kind of 9/11 thing where people are confused. You don't know why, because for a portion of the movie they don't know that it's aliens.
And that's not political. That's
not political.
That's just
But that's something as an American we can kind of relate to. Like, oh yeah, because that day that 9/11 happened,
we were all sort of confused.
We were confused. We didn't know where we were getting attacked from. So it did that well. That's why I'm actually I wanted the movie to finish strong. So.
But I was just happy there was no political, like Independence Day had this big environmental message, and like Jeff Goldblum has that dumbass scene. We're like, well, let's just go ahead and just pollute everything ourselves. We're doing it anyway. It's like, really, Goldblum? Really? You went there? Jeez, and you're a good actor. And you went ahead and agreed to say these lines? Let's talk about Independence Day for a second.
Oh, please.
This is a lifelong argument of ours.
Now, folks, he knows that I give that movie 4 stars, and it's on my top 100.
It's 2 stars. On a good day, it's 2 stars.
Oh, crap.
All right. Remember, what year did that movie come out? It came
1996.
96?
96.
It's that new?
1996.
Really?
Yeah. When did you think it was?
Like 92, 3, 4.
No, it's 96.
All right. Anyway, feels like forever. Anyway, that movie. Remember the context. The movie, the commercials, Super Bowl. I think the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah.
It had the shot of the White House getting zapped, or the Capitol, whatever it was, got zapped.
Yeah, it was the White House.
The White House and blown away. And I remember like us and our cousins, me, you, our cousins, and we were all like, "Oh God, this is the greatest movie ever. We gotta see it." And they kept showing commercials like that. We were all like, "Oh God, I can't stand it. I gotta watch this movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I finally get around to watching the movie, and I'm like, that's it. That was it. The best scene in the movie was when they zapped the New York and Washington and whatever else they zapped. And that was it. The rest of the movie was just like, so lackluster, so cheesy. The dialogue was just, it makes Avatar look like Shakespeare. The dialogue's so bad, and just horrible.
Oh.
And then that stupid speech the president gives, where he rallies
You don't even
everybody.
like that either?
No.
Oh, man.
No.
See, I'm a sucker for patriotic
Yeah.
gibberish. I like that.
I'll admit, and this is probably going to be taken, people that don't know me are not going to take this the right way. I am not the sentimental wave the flag type. I love America. I love my country. I love my state especially. There's a Texas flag over here, Texas flag there. I got the Texas flag outside.
Yeah, the eyes of Texas are upon us.
I'm a big, huge fan of my state, and I love my country, but I'm not the rah-rah, get misty when I hear the anthem type. It's not there for me. So I'm not sentimental in that way.
Yeah.
And that movie really played on that, and I was just like, this is just dumb. So your rebuttal. It promised a lot. It promised a lot and delivered nothing. Nothing. And then the Harry Connick Jr. one, they're right behind us. I can't shake them. It's like, really? Your life's in jeopardy, and I can't shake them. He should have sang it. Well, I can't shake them. Then it had some emotion to it. He just,
oh man.
I can't shake. Now your turn. Your rebuttal.
Well, first of all, I am patriotic, so that stuff works on me because I love that. You know?
Yeah.
We could wave flags all day.
Yeah.
I forget the movie. I know what it was. There was an episode of MASH, and this one character was upset that Frank Burns was waving the flag in his face, and I was like, well, I gotta go with Frank on that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll be waving that flag too. Woo! I am patriotic. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
So that scene with the president, I ate that up.
Really?
So, so yeah, there's that. But the movie itself, if you go in looking for like an action adventure and a more literal war against the aliens, yeah, I could see where someone's going to be disappointed. But if you see it as more of a film that is, it's the aliens that are invading. They are kind of the problem, if you will, because it's like the problem and solution kind of story format they're using. Well, it's a disaster movie,
right?
You know, so instead of it's not a tidal wave or a tsunami or a hurricane, it's the aliens. They are the tsunami that affects the world. So on that level, you know, I love it because it's people getting together. You know, I love the whole idea of Jeff Goldblum being this cable guy and him having that scene where he's explaining what the military needs to do to go dock with the mothership. It was a classic. Because it's just so funny. Because I remember watching the movie and I was like, well, surely you're not going to do this. Because at this time, between Star Wars and everything in between, Independence Day, no one was going in outer space in movies. I mean, if it was like those little B movies like Last Starfighter and shit like that. You know, I'm sorry. He's going to but it was stuff like that. Yeah. Which, by the way, that was one of the 7 deadly. I mean, we're knocking them all out. We only got 3 left.
Yeah, I've already dropped the F-bomb a few episodes ago.
Yeah. So we only got just a few left. Anyway, so we had never seen a movie in so long actually do something big. So I just love that this movie was thinking big on a global standpoint. Made Will Smith a star. Jeff Goldblum is wonderful in it. I even like Bill Pullman as the president. I love that movie.
Yeah, he's an exciting actor.
Well, he's fine in that movie. I like it.
But you have to admit he's a dry actor. Bill Pullman.
In the right role, I think he's fine. I think he's, you know, if you like he was in that While You Were Sleeping. Well, he was wonderful in that with Sandra Bullock. I'm not convincing this guy. Anyway, we'll have this argument again, not on camera, but I just think it's a wonderful sci-fi disaster film, which is interesting because the movie we just got through seeing today, Skyline, is kind of like the darker, more pessimistic version of Independence Day. You know,
that's fair.
So it is. You do have the contrast there, but you know, I love the scene too where Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum are like walking away after the aliens are defeated.
Oh, the right stuff shot.
Yeah, well, I just love that. That's great.
Promised a lot, delivered little. That's my take on it.
But you were expecting a more like, the Rebel Alliance versus the Empire.
Well, yeah,
kind of a fight.
What Independence Day didn't do is the same thing Skyline didn't do, and no freaking alien invasion movie has ever done, which is what I want to see. I mean, I know you know what I'm fixing to say.
Okay.
Aliens land. They actually get off of the ship, and we have street-to-street fighting in the streets of like in the canyons of like New York, say, and just like why Halo? You know why the Halo game franchise is so good? Because it delivers that. It doesn't take place on Earth, but it takes place in urban settings and otherworldly settings where you're like street fighting and other things with the aliens, and that's what I want to see in a movie. And if they ever make the Halo movie, that one should deliver it. But anyway, I want to see aliens on the ground with their laser guns running from car to car while troops are firing back from car to car, and it's a real battle. But no, you get one shot of a laser on two landmarks. You get a nuclear bomb back at them that does no good, and then you get basically the remake of the Return of the Jedi sequence in the ending of the third act, and that's it. That's all you get. And with Skyline, it's basically Night of the Living Dead but with aliens. And I want to know that's my beef is they don't do what they promised. It's never a true alien invasion movie.
Well, so it's almost like you're more upset at the marketing wing of the of the movies than the actual
and I know
movie
that would
itself.
be an expensive movie to make. I know it'd be expensive movie to make.
That was the point I was about to make is if you to do what you're talking about and not have just like humanoid aliens, you know, because that's what Star Trek would do. They put like pointy ears on a guy and a turtle head here or a turtle head shell or whatever, and they'd be running around. Or
that's why Halo the movie hasn't been made because Peter Jackson wouldn't make it. My understanding was the proposed budget was going to be $200 million, and all the studios got cold feet because no video game movie has really come through that big at the box office.
That's right.
Now, personally, I believe a Halo movie would because they don't understand how big Halo is in video game circles.
Right.
So, I mean, I think the top selling of all media is one of the Halo games. I think it set was it Halo 2 or 3? I think it was Halo 3 set the all-time mark for all media in sales and dollar amounts.
Yeah. Of
movies, music, no matter what, it's the highest grossing of anything. So I think they and don't quote me on that. Look it up. I'll have to look it up too. But I think they underestimate the power of Halo, or else that movie doesn't be made. You know.
Well, video games are extremely popular.
Well, me and you stopped by the video game store just on the way home earlier.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, it's almost like we're arguing, we're agreeing, but we're disagreeing. Also, it's like I accept Independence Day for what it is, and I embrace it and love it for what it is. And you see the potential for them to have gone and really gone street to street, person to person fighting with those aliens. And but that would have been more of an action adventure genre and not a disaster movie genre.
But don't misunderstand. Based on Independence Day, what it is, I don't like it. So I
get that too.
Don't think that I only don't like it because it isn't what it promised. No, it's cheesy. It's the dialogue's horrible. It's the the story is just very lackluster. You know, so it's not just. And the Jeff Goldblum scene, people go out and rent it if you don't have a copy at home, and watch the Jeff Goldblum scene where he starts kicking the cans and stuff everywhere. Horrible. Makes Patch Adams look like, Citizen Kane.
I don't mind that scene either, of course, because it leads to his dad giving him the idea to take out the aliens.
Yeah.
But
it's also the Kurosawa scene, isn't it?
In front of millions of people watching, we're having this argument we've had like.
But it's also that scene
1,000 times.
You're holding up the big placard. Hey, we're making a message here. Jeff Goldblum's making this environmental message. Everybody pay attention. It's kind of like this is the very special episode of Different Strokes. It's kind of like this is a very special scene of Independence Day.
Well, there's a point where in all movies where you either buy in and just kind of like go with it, or you don't. This movie apparently
it was lost on me.
It was lost on you. You had so many problems that there was nothing that was going to get by you.
But having said that, I don't hate the movie. I know it comes off that way. If it's on, I catch it on cable once in a while, and I watch part of it. I won't watch it all.
Yeah.
But I'll watch it for a little bit. Because on some weird level, it is entertaining. On some weird, to be like a B movie, it's entertaining like a B movie.
I love that movie. But anyway,
yeah.
All movies for us to pick up, but it did kind of have there is a parallel there with it and
Well, to segue is where is
Skyline.
it? Where is Independence Day on the 100 list? Because it's got to be on there.
All right.
To segue to that. In the first
it is.
Minutes. Where is it? All right. First of all, let's explain what the list is. Because tell them what that means, adjusted.
Well, we according to the website Box Office Mojo,
it's a very reputable site, by the way.
Yes, it's quoted by many people.
Yeah.
They have compiled these all-time lists.
Uh-huh.
And the one I have in my hand, my formerly chocolate-stained fingers, instead of nicotine. All right, for
Limbaugh.
For your Limbaugh jokes.
That's another way. We're talking about Limbaugh now.
Yeah, we've already lost the audience at this point. Why don't we just throw that one out there? Just split the crowd right in two. Okay, everybody. All right.
What's funny is people are going to take from this that I'm some kind of liberal that they don't even know. If you think that, boy, are you mistaken. You don't even know. Do you really want to go politics with me?
No, we're not. We're not going there, folks. This is movies. This is a movie show.
Yeah, it's a movie show.
Believe what you want to believe. All right. Anyway, domestic grosses, which means, of course, basically North American receipts, tickets sold. They've compiled a list of top 100, and it's adjusted for an inflation.
Right.
So that's very important because if you don't adjust for inflation, you're actually going on what just from a monetary value. So,
yeah, it's like comparing a Coke today that costs what? I think a vending machine can be up to $1.50 to $2 sometimes.
Right. Today you could
Whereas
you could
back then it was like what, nickel or less.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's comparing what a movie that can't a Coke might have cost you in 1980 a quarter.
So in other words, you can't judge the volume of Coke sold today versus the 1920s based on dollar amounts because of inflation.
Right.
So this is adjusting inflation so you get a truer picture of what is a popular movie.
And the best way to look at it is anytime you hear adjusted for inflation when it comes to movies, that just means really there was more tickets sold.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. More butts were in the seat watching that film than any others.
And where was Independence Day on that list?
Independence Day is 36.
36. What's the adjusted amount? What's the adjusted dollar amount? It's the first column.
The adjusted amount? Let's see.
It's the black one.
It would be $550 million.
$550 million. What was the original box office?
Unadjusted was $300 million.
So get that. So it was $300 million is what it made when it came out, and now for adjusted inflation is $550. So through adjusted, that's $250 more.
Yeah.
Yeah, $250 million more in adjusted dollars. That's only 14 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So hold that thought. Keep talking.
With that said, well, to give you an example of some like the recent movies that would have come out to kind of give you a reference.
Yeah.
Well, Spider-Man. Spider-Man is came out in 2002.
Yeah.
And it is 35 on the list. It's just one notch ahead. So if you were looking for where was that as far as like a box office hit?
Yeah.
Is in terms of adjusted it for inflation, it's just one notch ahead. 552 million.
Yeah.
And it was adjusted gross would be 403 million.
So you see just in 8 years how much that one was. So
Yeah.
let's do the top 10.
Top 10. Drum roll. Yeah. Snow White and Seven Dwarfs is number 10.
Wow.
Number 9 is The Exorcist.
That surprises me.
Number 8, Dr. Zhivago.
Surprises me again.
Number 7, Jaws.
I like that one. I like that one.
Number
being there.
6, Titanic.
Boo.
Number 5, The Ten Commandments.
Eh.
Number 4, E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
Again, eh.
Number 3, The Sound of Music.
Mega eh.
You and musicals. 2, Star Wars.
Woo! We are the champions, my friend.
And number 1, Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind. Which Gone with the Wind was a phenomenon movie. I don't think people really get to in this day and age what it was and what it meant to that generation. You know?
Yeah. It's a great movie, by the way.
Yeah.
It still holds up really well. So it's a classic in that regard. Epic filmmaking at its best.
Very visceral movie too. I mean, it's not a mamby-pamby movie.
No.
It's not a chick flick.
Well, you know what's interesting is the sexuality in it.
Yeah.
Even for this day, it holds up. It's pretty edgy stuff.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, when was this movie made? You're like,
Yeah.
what, 1939?
It doesn't really pull a lot of punches.
No.
Especially for its day and age it was made, and Vivian Leigh was like
Hot.
God
Hot.
bless America, was she hot in that movie?
Oh, man.
Scarlett O'Hara.
But yeah, one of the things that popped out at me was, I like David Lean.
Yeah.
I'm a big Lawrence of Arabia fan.
Right.
Love The Bridge on the River Kwai.
That's my favorite.
And of all his movies to be on top 10, Dr. Zhivago.
Right. Well, that's one of those movies I never have taken time to watch. I know I'm a film buff and I'm supposed to have seen it, but there's certain movies I just can't bring myself to watch because I know they're going to be long.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been one of them. Because I'm one of those people, I'll put this out there right now so you know. When you start talking epics, they're like 3 hours long. I have to admit, as much as a film buff that I am, it don't exactly appeal to me to say, oh, it's an epic 3 hours long. That don't exactly get me there. All right? Because I grew up on microwaves and Saturday morning cartoons. It's like, come on, chop, let's get to the story. Get with it.
Yeah.
And those movies tend to not do that. And so, I'll admit.
Well, I think a great story, whether it's 1 hour or 3 hours, if it's told well, you're going to be captivated.
I agree with that.
Now, when you have a movie like Dr. Zhivago, I mean, this is not made by some, hack.
I realize that.
Some studio hack. David Lean made this, but even the best sometimes can misfire. This is a misfire, and I know it was nominated for Best Picture, and it still appears on the AFI Top 100 and all that.
Well, they put anything that's nominated for Best Picture in that. You can't.
Yeah.
You talk about an invalid list or a list not to be taken seriously. It's anything AFI puts out.
Yeah.
Anything the AFI puts out, just disregard.
And for the folks at home, the AFI is the American Film Institute's list, and they've compiled. It started in '97, I believe it was, or the first list.
Basically, all they do is they take
through,
they take all the Oscar nominees and winners, throw them in a hat, and they have the secretary pull them out one by one, and that's how they create their lists. I don't really think I'm pulling that far from the truth. I really don't.
It's one of those things that we don't know like for 100% sure, but it's like we're thinking 95% certain.
I'm thinking I'm close to home on that one.
I think they literally just go check through.
Yeah, because didn't it have like Oliver?
List. It had,
some bunch of other crap on there, and like the Searchers was like in the low 90s one year, and the next time they did it, it was up in the 20s.
Yeah, when they came out with the second list in 2007, it was like it was farther up the list.
It was way farther up, like an embarrassing level.
Right.
And I think they even put out a statement like that was one of the ones they knew they needed to adjust, and they were way off the mark on it. It's like,
right.
Well, if you did a little homework the first time, anyway.
Well, they've done some lists over the years, and then their best picture lists do have some interesting films that you certainly should check out. But we were talking about this list, and it is just interesting to see what movies ended up being the top big ones.
Then pick me one off the top 10 that should not be there, and then we'll wrap the show up. Tell me the one movie on the top 10 you're like, get it off that list.
Well, it'd be Dr. Zhivago.
Okay.
For me, absolutely. Because all the others, they have merit to it. I mean, I'm not a big fan of The Exorcist, but I mean,
I'd get rid of Titanic. I'd get rid of that one on a heartbeat. No way, it doesn't belong with those other movies. No way.
Oh, by the way, for folks at home, they're probably like, well, where's Avatar? Because that was the recent big whatever. Avatar, for adjusted, is number 14.
Yeah.
So take that for whatever you will.
Right.
That's still pretty impressive. Number 14.
Well, see, my thing with Titanic goes back to my Avatar argument. Yes, production-wise, it's phenomenal. You know, I realize he spent a lot of money and it's all there on the screen. The acting's good. Kate Winslet is really good at it. Leo is really good at it.
Yeah.
But the dialogue and the story are so shallow and so horrible. There's like so many times in the script where they make these little cutesy little like, I read a book and it said such and such. It was by a man named Freud, and then Billy Zane goes, "Oh, it'll amount to nothing." And they do the same thing later with Picasso.
Right.
I think it's like, here's this painting, I really like it. Oh, it'll be nothing. Who's the author? I don't know. I think it's Picasso. Oh, he'll never amount to anything. And they do it. They keep doing that. And it's like, dude, that's the best you could come up with. It's just like an Avatar, some kind of a shock and awe plan. And it's like, really? That's the best you could do? Give me a break. The dialogue in Titanic. Oh, it as a writer, and I fancy myself a good writer. When I hear that, I'm just like, oh, nails on a chalkboard. Oh, horrible.
Well, they're not exercises in subtlety. That is for sure.
No, God's sakes, no. That's without doubt.
Well, I guess we better segue to our wrap-up session.
All right. Oh, yeah.
Hopefully, folks at home, we've made some sense today.
Quote of the week.
Movie rental, or are we skipping that?
I'll do the movie rental.
Movie rental, for me, I want to say, here it is, mid-November. Everybody check out 13 Days. It came out in 2000.
Oh,
directed by Roger Donaldson. Yeah, Kevin Costner's in it. It seems like every mid-November, because of the JFK assassination, that gets brought up and all that. So check out that. Is a fascinating political drama.
It's a good one.
It's a good human drama.
So, next week is Kennedy's assassination and Thanksgiving?
I believe so. It's on the 20. He was assassinated on the 22nd, I believe, right?
So, okay. So today's the 15th. So he was assassinated the 22nd. So yeah, that's next Monday. Wow, good call.
Yeah. I was thinking ahead.
Well, then I'll give them two video recommendations.
Sure.
Well, then JFK, without a doubt. Then if you have Oliver Stone's JFK, if you've not seen that movie, that's Oliver Stone's best freaking movie. Don't even worry about Platoon or Born for July. Those are good, but just don't worry about them.
For the two people that haven't seen that yet,
if you haven't seen JFK,
what gives?
Remember, we saw that at the movies, and that is a 3-hour long movie. Speaking of 3-hour long movie, that's a long movie, but you're like, the whole time you don't want to pee, you don't want to eat your popcorn, you're just like,
I ate his though.
Well, and that's a brilliant movie. That's like one of the editing, film editing. That's like one of the great. Oh man, they could teach whole semesters in college, I'm sure. On the editing of that movie.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
But keeping in line with Alien Invasion, I'll give you a much better Alien Invasion movie.
Here we go.
Than Independence Day or Skyline.
Okay.
And I'm going to go outside the box here a little bit. John Carpenter's They Live. What do you think?
Well, you won me over. I love John Carpenter.
John Carpenter's,
He's convinced me.
John Carpenter's They Live is, in my opinion, 10 times the movie Independence Day or Skyline is. It's not the same type of alien invasion movie. The aliens have done it slowly and subtly, but it's a great, it's a cheeseball movie. It's a popcorn movie. It's not to be taken seriously, but it's got some great action, and there's a classic fight scene.
It is the longest bare-knuckle fight scene in cinematic history.
Has to be. Has to be. It goes on forever and ever. It's classic. It's hilarious. The movie delivered. You will not be disappointed if you watch They Live. You can't. It's not. Don't go in expecting Citizen Kane though. I mean, it's silly and
yeah.
It's just a cheeseball movie.
It has some low budget moments, but
in a great way. But in a good way. Yes. In a good way. It's not like in a crappy way where they tried to be. No, it's like it's. They knew they had no budget. And they indulged in it.
The sum is greater than its parts.
Oh yeah. That's a terrific movie. That's my video pick.
I love that.
They Live.
That's a great idea. Okay, quote of the week.
Yeah.
Last week's was, well, you won't get anything if you lose.
Great quote.
And that's from the movie Glory.
Who said that? Who said the line?
Matthew Broderick.
Matthew Broderick.
Denzel's like, well, I don't want to carry your flag, and
yeah.
none in it for you. And
it's a great moment.
What do we get? And he's like, well, you get nothing if you lose.
Yeah, it's a great moment.
If we lose, yeah.
Great moment. Denzel, he won the Oscar for supporting actor.
Yeah, he's fantastic in that too.
And Matthew Broderick was always kind of dissed in that movie, and I never got it. I mean, he was great. He was really good.
Yeah, I think underrated. He's underrated in that role.
He's underrated in general, Matthew Broderick.
Well, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, even in that the producers.
Yeah.
The movie. I mean, I like what he did. It's different from Gene Wilder's version.
Yeah.
But you know.
He's Ferris Bueller, for God's sake.
Yeah, I mean, I like what he did. His version's good too.
Yeah.
All right. This week's quote of the week. This is a challenge for everybody. It's one of my favorites. Right. So here we go. Yes, one moment, please, but an important one. We've been through stretcheroo. Next will be stretch mark. Where will it end? Okay, one more time. Yes, one moment, please, but an important one. We've been through stretcheroo. Next will be stretch mark. Where will it end? It's one of my favorite quotes. If you could get this,
got me.
You are like, you know.
I have no clue.
You're a kindred soul if you could get this.
I have no clue whatsoever. I'm lost on that one.
But we hope you'll join us online though to make your guesses.
Oh yeah! If you'd like to guess the quote of the week, go to our Facebook page and on our Facebook wall, post your answer to the quote of the week. That's the Incredible Hoax Facebook wall, and you can also email us at hoke@redseatelevision.com. That's hoke@redseatelevision.com.
I like that. I've got kind of like a screensaver thing going on over here with the sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it never touches the corner.
Yeah.
It never touches the corner. Like in that.
I wish I could spin it properly, you know, like the little Microsoft ball and it just keeps going around.
I don't think we do anything properly on this show.
No. But that's my final thought of the day is how our sign really needs to be, you know.
And speaking of not doing anything properly, I bid you adieu.
So long, everybody.